Welcome to another episode of Albion Informer, your source for real news in an unreal world.
Keeping you up to date on all the latest news, events, and the great community of Albion online.
At Albion Informer, we take all the information that is spread across the entirety of the Albion community, be it Twitter, Discord, the official forums, Reddit, or some random dude in-game, and we break it all down into a format that you can digest in less than an hour.
In today's show, we have a little bit of a PSA, some official news, and some goodbyes. Then, we will look at the PvP leaderboards, who's in front and who made it barely into the leaderboards last week. We will end the show with a guide to show you how to destroy a guild with one easy step, based on 3 examples of the last 2 weeks: Friendly, Vendetta, and EOS. But first,
we have that PSA delivered quite powerfully by Lord Furs, FRZ, on Reddit. He warns you must stop drinking the water in Carleon immediately. Apparently, it's resulting in some really nasty side effects. Personally, I've never drank the water in Carleon because I'm pretty sure Red Bull pisses into it on a daily basis, filling that stuff with taurine. And I know what taurine does. You're going to get yourself full on YOLO, you're going to get full FUBARD, and you're going to have gonzo shits out the earth. So, personally, never touch this stuff. And I only drink Martlock Springs bottled water. Bottled right out of the ground. They just take it right out of a spring. Goes right into the ground, from the ground to the bottle. None of that nasty stuff coming off of the Fort Sterling Mountain. Are you kidding me? Yeti.
All right. Enough
all right. I don't need to get upset. But Lord Furs, thank you very much for your PSA. I'm pretty sure we're all well aware of the nastiness inside that water. So let's move on. Do we have any official news? I know we have a little bit.
Well, it's been awfully quiet recently. I think most of them are preparing for that Joseph update.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing we see here and there is a few dev posts, and we only see, them commenting on some of the threads on the forums that are not too sensationalist or too cool. But the only thing that I think right now is interesting, dev post-wise, is the changing NDA balance playtest thread, where Retroman, writes down what is in testing currently. But have you looked at this?
No, I don't get too involved in the play testing anymore, man. I'm far too involved in the drama of this world. It's really the only thing that's left from what I heard recently is the drama is the game, and people are just loving it. So I wanted to give some drama this week, and I didn't get to see that. But I did hear that Retroman should be on Twitch TV /Albion Online sometime this week. So
cool. That
should be really cool. Probably looking for it towards the end of the week. From, I believe, last week, Evoke had mentioned that there was some chance of him being on. I hope that's still the case. So, yeah.
Well, that would be nice.
Yeah.
I would be happy to see a dev on air somewhere again. We haven't seen a video in a long time. We haven't seen, somebody coming onto Twitch in a long time. That would be cool.
Yeah, I think
maybe get some more first-hand information.
I hope that I think they're going to try to do, maybe some question and answer session or something like that. It should be pretty cool.
Sweet.
So we do want to make another bit of news. It's a sadder bit of news because Bogle is he's very aware of what's going on in the forums, people. Let me tell you that. This guy is, if you are a dev and you write something on the forums, he's going to read it. He's following all of you.
You know what? On the forums, if you check for the devs, they have that sweet blue tag, right? Where you can see it's whatever game developer, community manager, Q&A manager, stuff like this. And there's also like websites who collect only dev posts. They miss some, sadly, but that's out there. So what I do regularly to stay informed is check recent posts by official people. And I noticed a little thing with 2 people. Apparently, Axolotl, aka Enya, and Sabrina don't have their official SBI tags on the forums anymore. And that usually means they don't work anymore for SBI, question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Emil, aka Empa, and Yasmin Beelzebub?
Beelzebub? Yeah, I remember
14?
Beelzebub a bit. She's well known throughout the community, I guess. And I
Empa,
never
of
got
course,
to
too, yeah.
talk to her personally, but I did on a number of occasions get to cross paths with Enya, Axolotl. And she was
Okay.
very, very nice. She actually, the first time I actually got to speak with somebody from SBI at length, it was with her. And we had a great conversation.
Uh-huh.
It started really weird though, because like immediately after we got on the call and we're sitting there, she goes, "Oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm very distracted." And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, "There's a twerking vaca," and I'm like, "A what? A twerking vaca?" And apparently, one of the new programmers had come by into her office and started twerking. And
What?
I know it set a tone for the interview. It was really good. We had a great time. Was very relaxed, and I'm really sorry to see her go. She was really quite an enjoyable person. I enjoyed my time with her. So, if you're out there, I hope that you can find something new and enjoy it. And we'll miss you here at Albion Informer.
Yeah. So we just wanted to give some shout outs. And I guess the other two community people, Empa and Yasmin, are you still alive? If you are alive and listening, maybe drop us a line. It'd be cool.
Yeah,
to
we'd
see
love to
where you
hear
went.
what's happened from you guys. I'm sure the community would love to hear about it. Some of you guys, the guys that listen to our show, the guys and girls who listen to our show have been here in this community for 3-4 years. So hearing from some people that they remember back in the day would be nice. Let's see. Moving on. What do we got next?
That's the official stuff, right? I mean,
yeah, that's it.
One thing I wanted to talk about in regards for official news is that it's supposed to come out by the end of this month, right, or the beginning of next month. So I kind of want to see teasers already. Like it's only 3-4 weeks.
Well,
do you remember that time? Well, do you remember that time when they had that thread with a daily picture update of stuff in development?
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see that coming back, where you just have a little bit of a teaser every other day of current, quote unquote secret stuff in development. I thought that was a cool idea, and I just want to
I'd like to see
nudge and
that.
say, hey,
I think that would be a great way for them to start the Twitch TV, Albion Online Twitch TV show that they have, is every day just giving like just a picture of something, in development. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? I'd tune in for that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Even if you're not too much into PvP, which the show is good anyways then.
Yeah.
Because you get, juicy updates on whatever.
Just maybe one, just like drama. a little pick, Like when they dropped that the Ghost Wolf picks, that was good stuff. All right. So
Yeah.
Let's talk about those
boards. We have the official stuff. We had to get that out there.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit. Yeah. But to the meat of the show.
Is this what this is? I don't know. This week I think we're gonna try not to spend too much on the boards, because we've been going over this every week for a while, guys, and it's very similar to what we've seen in the past. Though I will say this: Black Mamba has been taking more of a stance in the top 10. They're doing really well. All props to their GVG team, their guild, their GVG team. They're up there on the top right now. So all props to them. Anything that stood out special? I mean, we had two things that kind of, not leaderboard necessarily, but kill wise. We did see a crazy big battle, didn't we?
Yes, no, maybe there was a bunch of like 4 fights about the war camps with, I got to play a bit in the last weeks and was able to participate in those, I think, largest fights like in war camps. And I had the impression that, sub 100 people, I would say, in the zone, the experience compared to earlier was much smoother, lag-wise. But as soon as you go above like 100, 150 in the zone, it's still kind of laggy and rubber bandy. But it seems like an improvement to me for big battles. I don't know. Have you had any experience with that recently?
No. Every time I go to a war camp, it's been a no-show. It's been pretty
Oh,
sad. I was not happy with it. But I did notice a battle that was kind of ridiculous, and it was like, who was it? It was Zerg, Oops, and Arch all in one giant battle, and it resulted in, what was it, 164 deaths?
from
So,
last week?
yeah.
Okay.
And it
I
was
haven't seen that, I think.
6 million fame. It was, 21 minutes. That's pretty quick for 164 people dying. I thought it was pretty good. And your guys came out on top, honestly. It was a couple of guys from Zorn and Articulum Mortis. And I
Yeah.
believe at least one guy from Nilfgaard is the top 5. So that's all on your
Yeah.
side there.
We have a funny little thing going on right now in the. I don't know if I should say whatever. It's like when you do those big Zerg battles, right? You always have your large shot caller, and usually for Zorn that's Luxy who does this. And we have been teaming up with Nilfgaard, obviously, for those warcamp fights. And usually there's some kind of choke play involved, right? Where you have two big blobs trying to engage each other, and they're stuck between chokes, and that's like a little bit of a standoff until somebody decides to just push through.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhat of a reoccurring theme I hear on the Discords and TeamSpeaks recently is like, guys, let Nilfgaard run into the choke. They always do that. They don't, stop because they just follow up and loot and just get caught then.
Yep.
And we just do the smart thing and try to let the other people push and then just farm them. And it's, I don't know, sorry Nilfgaard, but you guys have been running into that choke for, I think, 4 warcamps in a row now without regard of, I don't know, it feels weird. Nilfgaard, get better.
So I guess you haven't seen because I feel like I'm pulling up all this information that you don't even have anymore. Like, did you see the big kill of the week?
I saw like a 4 million 8.3 one this week, but last week there was just 1.17, which is kind of
what about
disappointing.
4.5 million?
That I think it was yesterday or the today, which is basically not in the week of last week. Yeah, it doesn't count.
Really?
So no, well we can mention it there because it's 8.3.
No, it's 8.3.
Cool.
Yeah, Hakuna Matata from No Life got killed by Genov, and Crimson Imperium Reborn. Geez, that's a long title, guys. But geez, Hakuna Matata. Huh? 4.56. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big one.
That's much more interesting than last week. Last week we had Fuga killing Jolly R for 1.17 as the largest kill last week.
He died in 8.3 and had 8.2 in his bag.
Finally.
Yeah.
Finally 8.3, 8.2 in the GVGs.
I wonder,
it's been time for
what trashed. Oh, and they're outstanding too. Oh my God, that's brutal. Oh wow, that's quite the loot this guy had on him, and I feel bad for him. That's not what you want to lose. All right, later, happy. Hakuna Matata. I'm sure we'll see you again.
Yeah.
Hakuna
Wait,
Matata.
Are you saying you will see him again on the top death list?
I believe I've seen him before.
But also on the leaderboards, to be fair.
Yeah, he's been on the leaderboards a couple of times in the past, and I'm sure we'll see him again, and we'll mention him again. But this is quite a death. It's impressive work, guy. I mean,
finally.
I'm
happy, yes. Finally happy.
Okay.
Leaderboards, anything, you asked me if there was anything standing out to me?
Yeah.
And I said, not really. Everything is kind of the same as last or the week before. Not too many special things. The only thing that is, I think, relevant to us and the story today is that Chicken Kiss has won and defended a lot of GVGs.
Yeah, they're
last
number
week.
1 this week, and they definitely stepped it up.
And defenses.
But I know a little bit more about that situation. I'll get into that soon.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
they needed to fight more battles than they were accustomed to, and they did a really good job. They showed up, and
Hmm.
props goes to Chicken Kiss. I've always liked those guys, so
Yeah.
I believe
That's
I've
good.
made my Chicken Kiss appreciation known on this show before. Not
Yes, you
just
did.
because they're now in my alliance. I believe that this is not,
Oh.
yeah, I'm just saying they are in my alliance now. And it's
Hmm.
not like I'm just now getting on the Chicken Kiss bandwagon. I've always been on the Chicken Kiss bandwagon.
Right.
Um,
Right.
always been a fan of Hennep and
Why
what
do
they
you
do
why do
there.
you always say chicken kissers?
Be-
That's not how that.
I
That's
know that
not what.
they're a bunch of chicken kissers. Because my buddy, okay, I have a friend, has the same friend,
Yeah.
Chicken. And
Yeah.
Chicken, when we first ran into Chicken Kiss, they were, what was the original name of the chicken part? I know it was
Um,
French Kiss and Chicken something.
I forget the chicken part,
I don't know the
but
chicken
yes.
part, whatever. But they merged to become Chicken Kiss, and when they did it, they were in the same territory as Vendetta, our
Uh-huh.
guild at the time that Bogle and I were running, and it was we had a home territory and they had a home, like you could have two home plots, you could have three home plots, right? It was three home plots in one territory. This was crazy. So
Too. But yeah.
well, we had two home plots across from the river from each other. We used one as our base of operations and the one on the other side of the bridge as just
Uh-huh.
like
Uh-huh.
houses,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Chicken Kiss had the one across on the far side of the territory, so three. And I believe actually might have been four because there might have been that other guild that kept coming in and going. Remember, these were weird territories back in the day, and there was
Oh
also
yeah.
and there was
Strange
also
times.
like resource territories inside the territory. It's so weird, but
Yeah.
we had a guy named Chicken in our guild, and when he realized that there was a guild called Chicken Kiss in his zone, he immediately started talking to them, and they were like, "Oh my God, it's our Lord Chicken!" And it was in French, so it was really interesting. And from that point on,
Uh,
I was like, "What is going
you
on with these
became
damn
friends,
chicken
right?
kissers?" Yeah,
Yeah.
like, of
Yeah.
course I did. Chicken was like 14
No.
or something. I mean, they're
Uh,
bowing down to like a kid. Way to give the kid
but
a big head. Ah, God.
but now times are different.
Yeah,
Chicken
now
kiss is a whole different thing
they,
now, and
they are much bigger than they were. They have one of the better
yeah.
GVG teams. They are doing
Hmm.
quite well. And
Hmm.
I guess we can go right into that, shouldn't we? I mean, we've talked about these stats
Mm,
enough. Do you want to talk about more stats this week?
I want to mention one thing before we go into the alliance and guild drama that has been happening last week,
Mm-hmm.
which is something I find interesting and weird, which is apparently T6 expedition speedruns are a thing now. So last week or the week before, I saw somebody, I forgot the name, posting on the forums like, "Hey, this fame per hour on T6 expeditions, if you do them well, is too high."
Mm-hmm.
Complaining about this, and then he posted a video of him and his group doing it in, I think, 6 minutes something.
Wow.
And then, of course, a week later, somebody else comes in and says, "Well, your run sucks. We do this in 4 minute 45." And I think that's a thing now where
I
people
like it.
compete for the fastest run.
Well, they got to start throwing in some random things in there. They want to slow people down because they're getting a little stale. I like the idea of adding more expeditions now when I see these speed runs. Make them harder. People doing them in 4 minutes. Come on.
Well, it's technically 5, and then, I mean, the point of the debate is how fast you should do those, and how good the rewards is for doing them, and how many you can actually do in an hour, and blah 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 blah. It's a fame per hour question that is,
It's
you
relevant.
know, yeah,
Yeah.
because
I
some
mean,
people, complain about that the open world is not good enough for that, and that the safe quote unquote expeditions are too good. And other people are like, well, that's a highly organized group, and that's no problem if they do it fast, and I need this because it's safe, and I only have 20 minutes a day.
I
And blah,
believe
blah, blah.
I heard somebody compare this to standing outside the treasure tunnel in Destiny. It's basically free loot, and
Oh.
yeah, I did hear somebody explaining it like this. It's free fame once you know what you're doing, and you can just run through, and you just keep going through. So I
Well,
understand.
that's a thing now. I just wanted to mention that that's a thing now, and I think we will see some
Well,
reaction to that in the future.
it'll
Maybe
be
some changes.
interesting. I do think they need to make parts of it more difficult, and that would work fine. But so speaking of fame farming, we saw Black Mamba and Team Casualty getting into it while inside of a dungeon recently. Now they're both inside the same alliance, and
Yeah.
Black Mamba just straight up, you know,
Yeah.
drops and kills him. And
Right.
yeah, and
It's one of those videos that you see popping up on YouTube and Reddit once in a while, where you have your point of view from your group farming mobs, and then suddenly you have your alliance people come up behind you and like, hey, cool, what's up, blah blah blah. Hey, why are you following us? Wait, did they just drop guild?
Mhm.
What the wait, they killed us all.
yeah. Now I've heard a couple different versions of this story, and one is it's just a jerk who does this all the time and drops and kills people, and that's just the way he plays. Why are you complaining about it? I don't know how accurate that one was, but that was the most colorful version I heard. No, this is their farm area, and the other group wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. Alliance rules, this is the way it goes. You're not supposed to be there, and Black Mamba basically told Team Casualty that you have to stop farming in our area. And they were like, what do you mean? We're just going to keep clearing these mobs. And they're like, no, don't pull that. And then Black Mamba, the group of Black Mamba guys all dropped guild and went and killed Team Casualty. Just straight murdered them. We're like, no, we told you you're not allowed to farm here. We are the big dog. And if you guys have looked at the stats recently or heard us talk about them, yeah, Black Mamba's the big dog in their alliance right now. So Team Casualty, guys, when they say you're not allowed to farm there, go hit those T6 expeditions and try to get them done sub 5.
Wow.
I don't know.
Well, it's one of those. It's one of those YouTube videos where you watch it and you go, okay, this is going to happen soon, and you just wait for when they drop guild.
Wait for it.
Yeah. It's if look at Reddit, you'll find it there. Black Mamba backsteps Team Casualty is the title.
So that's not the only drama that Team Casualty has had. I went to go get more information on this a little bit. I was like, doing my due diligence, learning, what I could find out. And apparently, I was looking for, hey, I heard you got, jumped by your guild, like your alliance mates. And instead I got, yeah, Team Casualty started out as a group of friends way back in the day, some GVG mastering and, some open world battling. And we met these guys, Core. And Core were led by this guy, Sharkeisha. And Sharkeisha, he had an even better GVG team. And we played together in beta. And we thought once upon release. Yeah, I know this is a long story. All I was going for was like, so I heard Black Mamba. But, okay, rule number 1 in journalism, Bogala. Never tell them what you already know or what you're trying to get out of them. Always just go, I heard something happened. What do you want to tell me?
So you went to him and be like, hey, so I heard about this incident?
No.
And then, no?
No.
What?
I said, so I heard you guys were having a little bit of trouble.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts giving you a whole 2-page paragraph of
Well, no, he did a great job because it's in the middle of the night and I'm trying to get the deets out because I check my information, right? I do research. I get more than one source sometimes.
Right.
And I was like, I want to get their side of the story, but as I've learned, you always give people the opportunity to tell you more. So, back to the story at hand. So Team Casualty and Core were buddies, right? And they decided to join forces. And the idea was that if they didn't like the relationship post-release, Core would leave and go be Core again. And Team Casualty would be Team Casualty. But release
why not?
Release happened, and at some point, now this is a recurring theme, we're going to hear about it a lot. When you're GM of a guild and you're leading a guild and you're like, I'm the GM, and then for some reason you just go, here, take the GM title.
What?
Yeah, you just give the GM title to somebody else. I don't care what the reason is.
Wait. Are you saying that the GM of Team Casualty is also given away?
Yeah, he gives it away. So he gives it away to the GM of Core, and the Core officers kind of, this is from their perspective of the Team Casualty guys, pushes the Team Casualty guys out, and they're like, man, this is kind of lame, and they all kind of flee out of Team Casualty. Now, they all wanted to stay in Team Casualty because the idea was that if, remember, like I said in the beginning, that if things didn't work out, they would still be Team Casualty and Core would be Core.
So they... Oh boy! So they play, then
they played, and so they got some statistical ranks, and somehow that meant a lot to somebody more than, you know, agreements or I don't know, your guild's name, whatever. So the Team Casualty guys. And I dealt with them and Core a lot in beta because, you know, they lived next to my port. We killed each other a lot. So, you know, I've got a bit of mutual respect for them. And they all left to form a new guild. Bangers.
Wait. And so the initial Team Casualty team wanted to have their name back. The current GM, of course, says, I have that. No, thank you. Go away.
Right.
And then they said, okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
And now they made bangers.
Bangers. You know, it's better than sticking around in a guild that you don't like. But I do feel like bad because this is a theme that we're gonna continue to talk about, guys. You gotta be really, really careful when you give up the GM title. And sometimes you need to give up the GM title, and it's a good thing. You know, we talked about this with Fuss. You know, giving it up, right?
Well, so far it looks like a good thing, but
who knows? And I mean, there was a time when I remember somebody gave you a GM title. You did a good job with it, right? You did okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were a good GM. Did you give it back to the right person?
Well, it was released that the guild was founded, and it was supposed to be founded by the guy who founded it. So I had no problem with that.
Actually, you know, that would be funny. There's a really good chance that you could get mistaken and give the Vendetta GM tag instead of to Sky T, give it to T Sky accidentally, because T Sky could easily impersonate Sky T, seeing as they're like, you know, twin brothers and all. Yeah, that'd be pretty easy. So, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. So,
but, you know, then he would just walk over to his brother's PC and smash him in the face and be like, give it back.
I don't know. See, from what I understand, T-Sky was the active brother of the two brothers. Like, he was the one who could drive. He was the one who could pick up a sister. I mean, he wasn't No?
He had a job. But he's also called a warrior, if you remember that.
Yeah.
He's always like, if ever this guy is in some chat, he's always linking this old screenshot where it says the warrior T-Sky and Vendetta conquered blah blah blah. Yeah. I don't know. It's a long time ago.
He is living on past glories. Troubles and exertion. And let's talk about those troubles and exertion. I know that this is something that's near and dear to you because exertion is like, should be, used to be part of Zerg.
All of them, kind of. So, I mean, right now it's public already. You can see it on Reddit. That posted thing where Headstrong takes over as the new GM of Exertion. And posts on Reddit, hey guys, I took this over because, you know, we want to do more and we're not quite happy with the current alliance, blah, blah, blah. We have some people leaving and we need to redo this and do this properly.
Who was the old GM? Who was the original GM? Wasn't it, it's Fuss, right? Fuss of Fuss TV. Yeah, the streamer, pretty good at streaming, very entertaining guy. Probably just, you know, war on him, huh?
What?
It
War
wore
on?
on him. The GM. Not
It
war.
wore
Not
on
war
him.
against him. I'm pretty. No. A war on him. I
No,
declare
I
war on
understood.
Fusty.
I understood you called him a moron for leaving a G. All right, never
No
mind.
way. I've left the GM tag behind.
No, I'm totally off track.
Fuss TV left and gave Headstrong
Yeah.
the GM title of Exertion. They left the alliance with Zerg and created their own new alliance called Woke for Stay Woke.
Yes.
And it's now
exactly.
Exertion, Exertion A, Ursus Nix, and Fricks. And I don't know if you guys heard this, but Fricks are recruiting.
Is that a new joke about like undead?
No, that's a constant joke about Fricks.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Moving on.
Well, I think to finish this exertion story,
Oh, poor Exertion.
I read like 2 days ago in Alliance chat that they actually publicly announced this. They said, "Hey guys, we're about to leave the Alliance. Take out your stuff from the territories. Prepare for us leaving, and we will fight you soon." So that's a nice
Yay.
thing, quote unquote, leaving on good terms compared to all the other stuff that is possible, like
You
with Black
mean
Mamba
all
just
the-
dropping.
Yeah. Well, Black Mamba, I don't
dropping
think they
guild and killing
left
people.
their alliance. I believe it's just a few guys left the guild in order to murder some people.
Right, but
Yeah.
what you can think of is way worse than what happened here, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
a few people decided they want to stop playing or play less, and they don't have the time to take over leadership roles, so they pass on and try to make the thing that is your guild a continuum, and have new people in charge and be cool with that. And I think that's a good thing to do instead of having
I
your
mean,
guild implode.
There was no burning of bridges, from what I understand. It was one of the nicest move-ons I've heard of, which means there was very little drama, very little for me to cover. Not much interesting going on here. Just well-balanced decisions by a competent GM taking the move to pass it on to somebody else who's still playing and probably will continue to make their guild work by merging them with a few other still working guilds. And it didn't look like they had a huge exodus. It looks like it went pretty well. What can you say?
Huge exodus. Based on the screenshot I see on Reddit, it says last night we removed 70 players from the guild who either quit, were banned, refused taxes, and now we have 50 spots open.
Well, yeah,
That
but
sounds like a
that's
lot of
not
people.
that's not people leaving. That's
Ah,
that's culling the ranks. That's like when you go,
I
okay,
see.
nobody's playing, and these are the idiots who don't contribute. Let's trim the fat, make the guild work, and keep everybody playing and getting in those dungeons.
Okay.
They're sick of the naps, and they're not taking naps, but like non-aggression packs. They hate those. They're just not into that. So they want to get the
Also-
murder on, and yeah.
Also, I just checked in-game. Exertion still has 270 members, so that doesn't seem too many.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're fine.
Yeah, I think
Exertion,
it's
if you have some updates, let us know, and we'll report on your future. What is the word?
Prospects.
Prospects.
Yeah, well, we'll see how things go. It looks like I said, not a lot of drama there. They did it swell. Like, they are not part of the story of 3 different ways to kill a guild in one swift move. Let's talk about the dead guilds now.
But to the bad examples, yes.
Yes. So the theme of today is GMs. How to ruin your guild in one easy step, and it's really easy. When your GM fucks it up. It's the easiest way. If your GM gives away the guild, easiest way to destroy a guild in one easy, simple to understand step. And so we're going to talk about something that's going around now, exploited and friendly. Now, there are a lot of stories around there going on about how this happened, and
I think I saw like 4 or 5 Reddit threads.
4 or
and
5 Reddit threads,
answers.
all with different answers.
Uh-huh.
And the
And
only answer...
some of them by the same guy. even,
Yeah,
huh?
some of them by the same guy. The only consistent thing I can get from this is absolutely under no situation trust Lord Vicious. Like, I don't care what he's saying. Don't believe it. Like, he is.
Well, I feel like that's the whole point of him getting all the attention, or trying to create all this attention to make this weird story about himself.
Yeah.
Because as far as I understand, like, well, let's go first and talk about what happened with Exploited and Friendly and the whole situation.
So, from what I can understand, Friendly was in the middle of a power struggle, an internal power struggle. Things weren't going very well in Friendly. And at least two different outside, and by outside I mean not the core group of leadership, were trying to find a way to snag GM so that they could either take it, sell it, keep it, do whatever. There were multiple players at work here. Now, one of the people was able to convince the temporary GM. I don't know what. No, Bogle. Again, we're gonna talk about this. We don't know why they had a temporary GM, or why the temporary GM could so easily be fooled into giving somebody else the GM title. But this happened. Somebody impersonated the original GM and got the temporary guy to give him GM. And he promptly decided, I'm going to go sell this land. You guys are all screwed. And he got rid of all the people and went in search of a buyer. And he was able to find a buyer. And this guy then made a mistake because he trusted Lord Vicious to be honest.
Wait, so the scammer
got scammed.
Tried to sell the scammer tried to sell the territory, and when he did that, he didn't do it right, and then somebody just didn't pay him.
Well, I hear that there was a token payment. Like, this is like, and I don't know. This is also from Lord Vicious, so this is like, how accurate can it be? Because literally, I've heard 4 different versions of the story come out of the dude's mouth, and or fingers, or wherever he's typing or talking or doing whatever, or telling other people. But basically, I get the impression he wants people to think he had something to do with something when he had very little to do with something, and is admitted to having very little to do with something other than scamming the scammer. I think he scammed the scammer. I think this is true. I think he was able to figure out that all he had to do was get the guy to believe that he would give him money. And the guy gave him GM.
I think I have to plug my own trusted third-party service now, because it's ridiculous. If you guys ever want to sell guild plots or assets that are not easily transferred, just get in contact with me, and I hold that as a third party while you transfer the funds. And once the transaction is completed, I just give the funds to the other person, so you don't have to worry about security issues or trust.
Well, there you go. You can trust Bogle instead of Lord Vicious. I mean, his name is Lord Vicious, and he makes it pretty well known that he's just out there to steal your stuff.
I don't know.
And he doesn't have a very high opinion of us in of Albion Online. He thinks that his team is going to be able to take out,
Is he Neo?
Black Mamba. Well, he does mention Neo at one point. I saw him reference the Neo thread. This was ridiculous. I was like, oh my god, this guy's referencing the Neo thread. Yeah.
When I listened to him talk on when he was talking to Gusky, and when I read this, it is to me pretty clear that the dude is very new to Albion, because he's referencing to, I don't know, the GM as like game master, and to the right hands as directors, and he's using Eve speak to talk about things. So it's obvious that he doesn't really know much. So he's in the transition phase.
Well, I mean, he's pretty impressed with himself. In 2 weeks, he was able to snag a territory.
Blah, 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 blah. He's just promoting his guild.
Yeah. But let's,
enough of that, huh?
Black Mamba, you understand there's I believe it's 30% defender bonus right now. And Exploited thinks you're chumps. Just saying. I don't know. It might be interesting to see somebody take a home territory through war.
I'm rooting for Black Mamba.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Black Mamba too. I didn't think this was gonna happen. But here's the thing, and I don't know if this is at all true. One of the guys from Exploited says that they gave the guys in Friendly the chance to go get their stuff, which if that's what happened, good for them. Well on you guys, but Guy, I have no idea what the truth is, and I'm pretty sure that's the way you want it, other than people are talking about you. And if you want attention, Black Mamba, he wants your attention.
Or you can buy an ad on Albion Informer.
Yeah, or you can buy an ad on it. It's cheaper. Oh, God. Funny stuff.
Yeah.
So EWA and EOS are no more.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Like, now we've seen two of the biggest, oldest guilds in this game gone. Maybe for good. I mean, Vendetta is gone. That was the first. That was the first one. I was particularly saddened to see them go first. And then we saw EOS go second. So EOS couldn't even come number one at being the first ones out.
Whoa.
Vendetta's still number one.
Wow. Wow.
That one felt good. Oh, geez, just one more dig at you guys. But if you want a lot of digs, and I mean a lot of digs at EOS, go ahead and check out Reddit. Just type it in. Get your popcorn ready. If you don't like popcorn, go ahead and get your salted nuts. I don't care what you eat, but be prepared.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about that Reddit thread where this one dude explained the story from his point of view?
Well, okay, so there are a number of Reddit threads out there, and the one Bogle's, I think, referring to is Vamp Life 96, and that's the juiciest, funniest one out there, because I can't believe that any of it's true, and I literally laughed out loud and hurt myself, like, laughing while reading it, because it's hilarious. I mean, it's well written, and like, somebody, has gone to school. Like, they have, like, at least a B average in school. And they wrote this out, and it was pretty good. And apparently, they are not a fan of online dating.
All right.
I don't know, it's like 4,000 words of anti-online dating in order to make...
So what part of that story do you actually believe then? I know there's a few answers to that, and there's other threads. So what do you think actually happened?
Now, and I'm going to tell you, this is what I believe happened that killed all three. You want to know how to kill your guild in one swift move? Absentee guild leader. Like, just the person who should be leading your guild isn't there. I want to talk a little bit about Vendetta again, because we don't often talk about our own drama. And we kind of discussed this beforehand, that we see Friendly's problem, EOS's problem, and Vendetta's problem as very similar. It's absentee leadership. It's the people who are in charge just not being there to do their jobs, either from they had a real world thing, like real life gets in the way. These things happen. That's a reality, but you got to prepare for that better. If you want to lead a big guild. We saw where half of leadership disappeared for EOS. And we saw, again, a situation where burnout took hold in Vendetta. I have a very colored version of what happened to Vendetta. So I really wanted to let Bogle, who has he's a little bit more tactful.
I tried to be neutral and diplomatic. And just, if you want to tell your story, your side of you, I'll maybe have a comment, but maybe not.
Oh, okay. Because here's the thing is, like... I do worry that, we talk about everybody else's drama as if it's public drama, because it happens in the public. All this drama happens in the public, but we don't give you guys any of our drama. Now, Bogle and I, and some people are going to disagree with me on this, but Bogle and I believe, ran Vendetta for the final 2 tests that Vendetta played. That was Beta 1 and Beta 2, not Beta 3, because Vendetta didn't show up in Beta 3, because both Bogle and I had decided that we had other things we wanted to do and could not lead the guild 100%. And
like this podcast.
And after doing it for 2 tests and getting a lot of pushback, we both needed a break. And I don't think either of us would have left Vendetta, which we were accused of doing very early on, and just straight up joining another guild for Beta 3 if Vendetta was going to play. But when it was clear that it wasn't going to play, we both went on and did our own things. And during Beta 3, Bogle and I had, talked and decided we really did want to become part of Vendetta again when it launched, but we didn't see anything happening for it, and we were getting very close to launch. Now, for a guild that is known for having its 25-page documentation before a beta, having no conversation 3 weeks before launch was worrisome.
Unacceptable.
Yeah. So, me, Kazja, and Bogle contacted SkyT and said, we really are worried that you're not going to be here full-time beforehand or with launch. And seeing as, me and Bogle had spent so much time leading the guild in previous tests, we'd really like to take over in a more official way. And we are really concerned about some of your leadership style. Mostly me. I was concerned about his leadership style. He had a tendency to play a little YOLO. And I am concerned when I see people, like Friendly, give their GM tags to people they don't even know who end up giving away their entire guild. I did not want my GM being a guy like that. Now,
Wait,
SkyT took that offensively.
Are you referring to Peak?
Well, no, I wasn't referring to Peak. Actually, I wasn't.
Oh.
I was referring to the Friendly loss to Exertion. I honestly was incredibly surprised that he gave it to Pikachu, because Pikachu had been removed from Vendetta for being rude to the current GM and trolling the current GM consistently and constantly, and showing a lack of maturity in public Discord. And I was shocked to see him put into GM. And I thought maybe he could do it, but I didn't think he had the temperament. So, but that's... I didn't pay attention to what he did post-launch. I'm under the impression, from what I understand, is SkyT lasted about 2 weeks. Pikachu lasted about a week and a half longer than that before he started looking for other people to take over. And at that point, there was really no leadership left to take over Vendetta, because the right hands are people who haven't played in 4 years and have had like a honorary right-hand title for the extent that I've been in Vendetta. Now, I don't know if they had the same exact right hands as when I was last there, but when I was there, the only right hand I ever saw put forth right-hand amount of effort was Zach, who played Oceanic Times, and that made it very difficult for an EU/American time zone guild. So, lack of leadership, lack of motivation to keep it going.
Maybe someday Vendetta will be reborn.
Hey,
maybe.
I will dig that puppy up from the ashes, wear that cape proudly, and make it a powerhouse that it has always supposed to have been.
I don't really want to give a lot of, fuel for this drama.
Yeah.
I do not necessarily subscribe to that one-sided thing, because I always believe that everybody has done a lot of effort, and while it may look like one thing from your side of thing, your point of view, I'm sure both SkyT and Pikachu and all the leadership of Vendetta has their own viewpoint, and they are definitely putting in some kind of effort.
I never said they put no effort, but 2 weeks of effort from now, that's not enough. I don't see SkyT. I haven't seen him in a while. I enjoyed playing with him when he was available, but I haven't seen him available past 2 weeks in any phase, and he always has the same excuse. But real life is more important, dude, and I 100% agree. And if you know ahead of time and during and afterwards that your real life requirements are going to make it so you don't have time to lead a guild, don't act like you're going to lead a guild. Don't act like it. Don't. Give it to somebody else. That's what I would say about SkyT. I love playing with him, but I never once saw him have the time to lead a guild. And I've been worried that Vendetta was going to fold since week 2 when I first heard that they were looking for a new GM.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. I don't know.
Huh.
So let's talk about that Iwa thing now, because this is similar kind of drama here for Iwa. We've got absentee guild leaders, of which I would say Iwa has a guild leadership of, I would say, a dozen or so people who've been playing games for a number of years beyond just Albion Online. They have been playing with each other for, I would say, maybe 6 years or so. And there's a good group of them there. And I would say about half of them are totally useless as far as leadership roles. Just they make leadership more difficult, and yet they're all in positions of leadership and given authority because they've just, they've been playing together for so long. And I would say about 3 of them are really good, like, leadership quality people and should have been, in charge of the guild.
How do you know?
I was in EOS for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In one of the tests, when Vendetta decided it just couldn't keep going any longer, it's very hard to go without a GM. And I joined EOS with some of my friends who maintained their EOS, nessedness for quite a number of months. Last I knew, they were still there even. But now, not so much, I guess. But from what I've heard, there's a lot of drama. It's the best kind of drama. It's the popcorn-eating drama. It's the you think that my sided story on Vendetta folding was one-sided. Go to this this popcorn-filled, factless Reddit post by VampLife96 and get some good belly laughs in. There might be some facts in there. There might be. I'd like to ask Ali about some of them. But apparently... Are you
saying the whole thing is made up?
I don't know if it's all made up, but it's very not accurate.
Uh-huh.
But, okay, something doesn't have to be totally made up to not be true. Like, the best stories are those that have, a really good element of truth, and they have, something that happened, and then you expound on that thing until that's the entire problem.
So what do you think of this part is actually true? The online dating?
I hope it's the online dating. I really hope it's Ali online dating, this, her name is Ass? Is that really her name? If she was able to log in to the forums and get the name Ass, well done. Well done. I don't care anything else besides that. You've done a good job. You are a welcome addition to the community. Good job. Ali, I hope you guys have lots of fun. Maybe you can show her your kickflip. I don't know. But seriously, that is some good popcorn. And there are so many, rebuttals to this story that it's grand. Some of the rebuttals are just as false as the original OP story. So definitely get in there. Look it up. This guy will get lots of thumbs up, I'm sure. I gave him an arrow up just because I laughed so hard. It was so good. So good. So the end of the story is that Iwa is gone. It's done. It's over with. It's ruined. There's nothing left to it.
What is it now? Is it 2 months almost? We have Vendetta gone. We have EOS gone.
Oh my God.
Some of the very old names.
EOS couldn't even come in number 1 at folding. EOS number 2.
Whoa. You never get tired of stabbing those people, do you?
I never, no, I don't. No, I don't. But let me be clear. This is all in good fun. Those guys are now, most of them are going to be in my alliance. A lot of EOS folded into Chicken Kiss, which is a great guild to join. I love Chicken Kiss. My love of Chicken Kiss goes way back to the original Chicken Kissers and the French Kiss and the other chicken guild. Chicken Floggers? I don't know what it was.
I don't know. I forgot.
Chicken Life? I don't know.
My point was, is it a new era now where you finally have those people from Alpha quote unquote quitting or leaving or being done with the old things that lasted a few years? Is it a new age now of Albion?
I don't know. Is it the new age of Albion?
It would be. It's a
Post
2
Vendetta
months
life.
after launch.
2 months. Well, we do see a lot of old school people leaving, and I hope that it is temporary, and that a lot of these people come back, and that the game will continue to make changes that will make people want to come back 2 years later. Like, where the game continues to evolve and get better. But honestly, EOS, if you're going to merge with a guild, Chicken Kiss, I think, has done it a number of times. They've taken like 5-6 guilds on at this point. They're very strong. They have good leadership. They have strong leadership at the top. They know how to get things done. They have a solid GVG team, and they got themselves into a pretty good alliance with Oops. It's not bad.
Pretty good alliance with Oops.
Yeah. Well, see, the fact that like Hennep and Derek respect each other so much, and you know they used to talk like strat and stuff like that back in the day. They like know each other. I think that puts them in good position to eventually get some nice high black territories for Chicken Kiss, because, I mean, Exertion is now. I mean, their big partner is Fricks. And Ursus Nix. And now I don't know Ursus Nix. Now, if Ursus Nix is somebody who's new or somebody old who's reformed, I'd love to hear about it. But Fricks, I know Fricks is recruiting. And
is that a new undead? Or what's the joke there?
Well, Fricks is always recruiting. I'm pretty sure that, like, if you join Fricks, the first thing that you have to do is say Fricks is recruiting. Like, you have to go recruit somebody else. Like, if you are recruited into Fricks, your first job is to go... It's like a pyramid scheme, but most people are tier 4. Oh. Maybe, no. Okay, just the guild leader. Yeah. He's a good guy.
How did we...
How?
Okay.
What? How? What? So...
what time is it? How did we end up here?
I don't know, but Exertion I'm a little worried about, because they are now between Nilfgaard, Oops, and Oops. And
Nilfgaard, Oops, and Oops? That doesn't make sense.
Well, they're not Nilfgaard. What is that? Zerg Alliance, and then Oops, and then Oops again. So they're surrounded. They're pretty surrounded, and they were worried that they didn't have enough targets, so they needed to leave Zerg. Now they have plenty of targets. Now I'm confused because I know the portal that they own there, and I'm pretty sure that there's just a constant flow of Arch around that portal. Just constantly there.
Maybe they want to focus on GVGs?
Maybe they want to kill something that's not T4. I don't know. There's no profit.
How long do you think Arch will take? How long do you think it will take Arch to be T5? Another 3 months?
Well, I don't know. Until they pick it off of somebody's body? I don't know.
Oh.
I don't think they have infrastructure. I don't want to talk about them anymore. Okay. So Oops is doing really well now that they got Chicken Kiss. And Chicken Kiss is in better position now that it got...
So Oops is doing well because they have
EOS. And EOS is doing quite well now because it no longer has to worry about being number 1. The amount of stress that should be relieved off of these guys by folding as number 2. They folded as number 2. Should be huge. You guys just should be huge. But, yeah. All right, well, Bogle, it has been quite a journey today. We have gotten to see many interesting things, some of which I really didn't need to read about. I mean, really, Ollie? Are you sure? He's probably really raging in some room right now.
No, maybe he's happy. Let's hope he's happy.
I hope he's happy. I hope that Ollie is doing well and that everything is fine with him. Yeah, good luck with that, friend. I hope everything goes well for you. To everybody else who has left us, fond farewell, pretty much a fond farewell to all of you. And some of you we're going to miss a lot, some of you a little bit. And I hope that maybe one day we can all get together under that friendly tag in the sky that I don't believe anybody is using right now.
Have a picnic.
Picnic.
In a tier 2 zone
Weren't we
somewhere.
supposed to have like a picnic at one point? Like a big Berlin picnic?
It was going hardcore RP now. Just be like sitting in tier 2 zones.
Oh, okay. We'll get drunk gathering on Friday night. I can do that too. Shit. All right. So, Bogle, where can you find us?
Everywhere, I think, if you just Google it. I mean, SoundCloud. SoundCloud.com/Albion Informer. Also on Twitch, twitch.tv Albion Informer. And hopefully soon on YouTube. I mean, you can find us there now.
If you
just
search,
put in,
you gotta search.
Yeah,
You gotta
but
go Albion
we-
Informer, and then like a bunch of our videos come up. So do that, subscribe, and if 100 of you guys subscribe, then you won't have to do that anymore. And we'll just say like go to YouTube/Albion Informer, and there'll be a .com in there somewhere. I'm pretty sure. All right.
Yeah.
So until next time, use your search functions, find Albion Informer, tell your friends, and try to keep your guild together by following one really simple rule. Don't give it away. All right.
Happens.
Don't give it away. Or give it